Hi guys. So I'm live at the minute. I'm just going to be sharing a link to my live for a moment, where I'm going to be talking right now. I'm not going to see if anyone comes on for just 2 moments because I'm just going to be sharing this to my Facebook. So if anyone's come on, I do apologise. I'm not reading comments yet. So bear with me a moment. Okay. Right. Hello. Hi guys. Sorry, I was just sharing my thing to Facebook at the moment, so I didn't see you guys come on. So hello. I don't know if you. I've lost what I was saying. Sorry, I'm reading something at the same time that's on my screen. So there's only yourself in. So yeah, I'm good. How are you? I'll get onto the subject in a moment. I'm just going to wait for there to be, say, another 1 or 2 people, and we'll crack on to what this video is actually about. But I'm good, Ben. How are you doing? Glad to hear it. Both good? Brilliant. That's weird. It's telling me that one person's watching and there's 2 of you here. That spam me right out. I won't keep you guys long. If no one else joins along, this was an unscheduled live. Hiya, how you doing? It was an unscheduled live, so I don't expect there to be a huge outcome. There's something I wanted to discuss with you guys in just a moment, so you may have to sit there, watch me drink a cup of tea. If there's anything you want to ask me in the meantime while we wait for maybe 1 or 2 more people to join, because this is going to involve some questions where I need you guys' advice, and it's going to be advice purely linked to the YouTube channel, my YouTube channel. So it would be better if I had a few of you on there. It doesn't matter if you're new, Ben. Don't matter at all. Don't matter if you're new, old, or have never even watched it. To be fair, this kind of chat is going to be based on anyone as a YouTube viewer in general. So that's good. You sub to Ben. Everyone, you're welcome to all sub to each other. You're welcome to put your YouTube links in here. I don't know who was. I can't remember which one of you are in my other live. I'm always happy for you to advertise yourselves on my lives. It's not a problem at all. We'll go add each other, check each other out. It's no problem. Bear with me a minute, guys. I'm just going to check one thing a moment. So I'm not going to be looking at the comments just for a minute. Just going to check my Bug Realms. I want to Bug Realms Facebook, guys, as well. If anyone wants to like that page. I don't post on there as regularly as I should do, but I do plan on putting a bit more on there, and you might get a bit more sneak preview. Same with Instagram, Bug Realms on Instagram. Eventually, I'm going to do sort of sneak previews to what's going to be coming up in the future that's purely linked to those pages only, and that will show you some future things that are going to come up in the future of the channel. So just by having a like on the Facebook and Instagram, eventually you guys will get sneak previews. Right, I'm just doing one more thing, guys, and then I'll get on with it. 1 second. I'm sorry, I'm not looking at your comments right now. I am checking something out. I don't mean to bore you guys. I will be with you in a minute, I promise you. It's just I'm popping up a link to say that I'm live so we can get some more people coming in. We can have a better chat and more of you can advertise your channels then, sub to one another. Right, I'm going to be coming back to you guys now. So I'm just reading through now, guys. Reptiles book series, all about snakes, lizards, spiders, tarantulas, insects, and scorpions. Look forward to that. Okay, guys, I'm gonna start off with what I was going to be talking about, and we'll just have to fill people in on the way because I don't want to keep you sitting there just waiting for me to say something. Right, I'm going to talk about this as if you guys maybe, well, it doesn't matter whether you follow my channel or you're new to my channel or you don't know it whatsoever. Hello, Danielle. You should be bowling, not watching me. Save your data. So basically what I'm going to be talking about here is the future when it links to my channel. It's over, is it? Oh, did you win at bowling? So for those of you that don't follow me, I'm mostly a Phasmid keeper. I originally was only a Phasmid keeper. When I say Phasmid, that's just the more scientific term for stick insects. When I talk stick insects, I don't just mean the typical Indian stick insects that people may see in pet shops for like 50p. I'm talking from all over the world. I've got things, or had things, from Madagascar, Papua New Guinea, Thailand, Vietnam, loads of Southeast Asian species, and some of them look absolutely fantastic. But the point I'm trying to make is, so I'm just reading. All right, Danielle, no problem. You save your data. You can message me. I'll message you when I'm finished on the live. So Danielle's my partner, everybody, by the way. Yeah, so I was a Phasmid guy to start with, and then I got into all kinds of invertebrates, and that's when I started getting into mantis. I went into next. Then I moved on to, I can't even remember, the odd beetle. I got my Egyptian predatory beetles then. I've got a centipede. I've got 9 tarantulas, 1 scorpion, millipedes, basically whatever I can get my hands on. And I do absolutely love, sorry if I lean forward, it's because I've actually got really poor eyesight, guys. So when I lean forward, I'm just trying to read the comments. So yeah, I'm into all invertebrates. I love all my invertebrates. I give the best care that I can give to all my invertebrates. But Phasmids have a sort of special place in my heart for me. It was what got me into keeping inverts. It's what got me over my fears. My very first Phasmid I held was actually Extatosoma tiaratum, or more commonly known as Maclay's spectre. So if you don't know what that is, I do have a video on it. If you scroll back, or just Google it, Extatosoma tiaratum, or commonly Maclay's spectre. It's an Australian species of stick insect. When I got my very first one, I was petrified to even hold it. I was shaking, right? Literally shaking to hold it. And unfortunately, although I'd done a bit of research, I knew nothing about any kind of bugs back then. And I failed that one, and it died in a molt. I don't think, although they don't require a lot of humidity, I don't think I had the setting quite right. But I retried, and now I'm on generation 3 or 4. I don't even remember. So I think I'm on generation 3 at the moment, actually. And I absolutely love them. On the road to 200 subs. We'll keep it up, Ben. I hope you get there. And my problem is this. This is what the core point of the video is about. And it's a shame there's only actually 2 of you, as far as I can see, watching at the moment. But I'm at that point in my channel now where I've got to think about the future. I'm on 300 and something subscribers, and I know that's not a lot, but this channel means like the world to me. I know I put in a few hours of research every day after work. I put in time for my filming, like any YouTuber does. But I have been doing bits and bobs of research about things for years. Before my channel even came up, I put a lot of time into it. And anyone that's watched my why video, if you haven't, there is a video on my channel, why I started YouTube. I don't want to go into details on it because it was actually a little bit upsetting for me to record. But the point of it was there to try and inspire other people, other YouTubers, and people, just viewers, people in general, try and inspire you to do the things you love in your life. If guidance far is over, no problem. I'll get onto that with you in a moment. If I forget, remind me. If not, you can message me, or I'm not sure if you have my Facebook. If not, do the Buggrounds Facebook. You can message me on there, but I will try and remember to get back to you on that. Just to quickly ask you though, over of which species? So just over of which species, and I'll read that in a moment. The problem that I've got though, guys, when it comes to the channel is the Phasmids are mostly my life, and I've got to look for a core thing that I want to continue keeping, because I have a room designated to all my invertebrates, and there is limited space within that room, and I like to collect. I like to build it up. I like caring for them, and I like showing them off on the channel. Prickly, as in the giant prickly, is that? Oh, so the same thing, the Extatosoma materiatum, because they're also known as giant prickly, but there's also others known as prickly as well. But I'm presuming that's what you meant. The Australian ones, brown, curl their tail up a little bit. Yeah. Okay, I will get onto that with you in a moment. All right, I'll talk you through the over process with them soon. Where was I? So yeah, so when it comes to the channel, part of me wants to continue the Phasmids more than the others. I still want to keep everything I've got. I don't want to get rid of anything I've got. I may also get another mystery box from the spider shop for tarantulas, because I'm really enjoying keeping those. I like the challenge that they bring. But aside from maybe one mystery box from them, and probably a few more mantis, because mantis don't take up a huge amount of room, part of me would like to focus back on the stick insects, because my collection used to be very, very vast before I even started YouTube, and the collection shrunk after that. But I'm battling with myself, and here is the problem. Keeping a huge amount of Phasmids does start to tire you. It's not like something like a tarantula, believe it or not. You will clean out a tarantula, for example, as long as you have things like springtails in there, you will clean them out less than you would a Phasmid if you're an egg collector, an over collector. And what I mean by that is a lot of people that want to collect up all the over separately and house them separately will use a kitchen roll method, and they will place that on the bottom of their housing, of the stick insect. They will place kitchen towel on the bottom. That makes it's bright white, makes it dead easy to spot all eggs. Plus you can collect it all up and bin what isn't eggs. But I was taking a long time sifting through, checking every bit, what's poo, what's an egg. And then there's the fact that you could put the soil-based substrate, and some do need soil-based substrate. But the ones that don't require it, if you just want it to look nice, yeah, the springtails will be within that substrate and they'll clean up all the Phasmid poo, for example. But you're going to have to leave that over in there, because there's no way you're going to find every single egg to collect it up. There's no way. And the problem is you don't really want to keep every single bit of over you've got. And that's not being cruel. That's because you will get overrun. So my last lot of Indians, let's talk about the Indians, because they are so simple. Yeah. I was at a stage where I was still new, and I didn't want to be freezing off and killing off Indian stick insect eggs. I felt cruel. I didn't want to do it, right? So I left them. I collected some up. I left some in the enclosure. Well, I ended up with about 200 of the things. Now, if you could imagine collecting food plants continuously to feed 200 plus all your other species, it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort of collecting up the ova. And can you imagine how much that takes to clean out? So that's why it's important to not necessarily keep every bit of ova. Sell it by all means if you don't want to kill them off. But if you've got no one to sell them to, freeze some, because you will get overrun. You won't be able to look after them. Fortunately for me, with the Indians, I managed to give them all away. And I originally gave every single one away. And one egg remained. I sifted through everything. I collected everything. And one day I found first Insta, baby, brand new hatched Indian walking up my wall. I couldn't have the heart to kill it. I couldn't have the heart to throw it away or give it away. And if you've seen my video about hermit, about why Indian stick insects are not so boring, that's what made me think of it that day. I thought, maybe I shouldn't have got rid of all of them. And I kept that tiny little baby, which is now hermit now. And I've just had another 4 hatch. I've been freezing hermit's eggs because I didn't want to keep a huge amount of Indians. And I've already found 4 babies from ones that I've just missed. So there's bound to be a lot more. So I'm going to end up back in that stage. And these are the problems that arise in Phasmid keeping. The other problem that arises in Phasmid keeping is you guys as viewers. Now, this is the point where I was hoping to have just a few more people on to discuss this with. But it looks like it's not going to go that way. As I said, it was unscheduled live. So there's not really much conversation going in there. Can I just say to you guys, anyone that's still watching, because my counter is not always correct on saying how many people are watching. Anyone that's watching, can you just pop hello or hi or a smiley face, something in the comments, just so I know who is here and who is watching right now? Because I'm going to get on to the important part of the video now, and I'd just like to see. Bob. Brilliant. Hello, you all right? So we've got 3 by the looks of it. So hi to all of you. So the important part of this video that you guys, I'd like you to answer for me if you could, please, is I always get talked to very kindly about my channel in a channel is nothing if you don't enjoy what you do. I get that. But the thing is, I do enjoy what I do. My decision on whether to go mostly into the Phasmid, the things that I know a lot about already, the things that I have kept for a long time, things that can cause me stress if I'm overpopulated, that's a problem I'd have to overcome and figure out a way around, perhaps selling more, giving more away. But I'm not sure, as viewers to my YouTube channel, whether that's something a lot of people are going to be interested in. So if we look at my channel in comparison to purely tarantula YouTubers, I started at the same time as quite a chunk of tarantula-based YouTubers, and a majority of them have already hit their 1,000 mark or over. Some of them that have started the same sort of time as me. There's been the occasional ones that I was ahead. When I first hit my first 100, they were on about 40. And because they've got something so interesting for people to watch, like a tarantula, they can do takedowns. It's exciting to watch them house them. It's exciting to watch them feed. You know, all these things as viewers that you want to see. And I think that's what's made them shoot up. And I know I should just be happy, you know, with my 300 odd subs. I am doing what I enjoy. But in my why video, if you haven't watched it, I express how much I like making a connection with the world. This isn't about the money side of things. Don't get me wrong. Any YouTuber that doesn't want money is probably lying, right? But this particular conversation is not about money. It's about subscribers and viewers. It's about making that connection with the world. And I want it to up. You know, I want to get into the 1,000 mark. I want to get a bit higher than the 1,000 mark. And I'm not sure if having a majority of what I keep being solely different Phasmid species, different stick insect species, would just jam my channel to a halt. I understand I've still got 9 tarantulas to show off, but no one's going to want to keep seeing the same 9. I mean, obviously, as they molt and they grow bigger, that's interesting, but you can't keep that going. Okay, so I'm just doing the 2 here. So the one from Ben, do what you enjoy and stay positive, even though haters bring you down, just keep going. The thing is, I haven't had a lot of hate. I get quite a lot of people saying they're interested in the Phasmids, especially the Americans, because they can't really get them over there, or they can't keep them over there. I don't know why, it's just certain laws. But because they're not something that's going to snatch prey, because they're not something that's, yes, some can be aggressive, some can spray, some can blind you, they can draw blood. You know, a kick of a leg of a jungle nymph or a Uracantha calcarata species could probably draw as much blood as a tarantula bite would. I'm not saying people should get bitten. I'm not for that at all. I'm just saying they don't give that excitement, and I need to build that channel up. And I think once the channel is built, then it will be more easy to just purely enjoy what I do. If you see what I mean, it's difficult. So Peter, hello Peter. So you say, last opinion, mate, get more teas and assassin's bugs. I want to get assassin bugs. That is something that's on my list. I definitely want to get them. And I do want more tarantulas. I don't think you were in at the time, but what I said is I want to get one more mystery box from the tarantula shop, the spider shop, sorry. Probably save up for a £90 mystery box. So I will either get a big bunch of slings, or I will get a few adults, or a bunch of juveniles, or whatever. So that would give me a bit of a more boost to the tarantulas. But after that mystery box, it's what to focus on then, because the Phasmid is what I know, and I can provide you a lot more accurate information, a lot more care sheets, things like that about various species of Phasmid than I could ever do in a tarantula. Yes, I will learn, and I am learning as I'm going along. But at the moment, I can't do these, reasons why to own a tarantula. Well, I could do reasons why, but I'm trying to think care sheets. This tarantula's from this country. This is the exact husbandry. I'm learning that off other people for mine at the moment. I'm still very, very new to it. With the Phasmids, a chunk of species, I could probably tell you straight off how to look after them, or just quickly refresh my memory. See this book here? I've got this notebook here. It's not full, but where is it? This was my stick insect book. And this was just various bits of information. Some of them were empty. Various bits of information. You know, I've done about 50 odd pages here of Phasmid information that I've been learning. I ain't got nothing like that in the way of anything else. Sorry, I'm going to read back to comments now. I think the ova can be legally sold as fish food. It probably could. Not really sure, so don't want to take my word for it. They can be eaten as fish food. The ova can. But I think the whole shipping to the States is very... I don't want to get fined, basically. And I've read into a lot of things, and I'd be the one that got in trouble, not the person receiving it. So it's not a risk I really want to take. You can get a mystery box then. So is it that you try to say your friend does the mystery boxes, or is it your friend has got one? I actually did a £30 mystery. If you ever go back in my channel, the biggest views I've had on a video is a Spider Shop unboxing mystery box. And they were the first ever tarantulas I owned officially. I'd looked after some before, but they were the first that were really mine. And it's got the most views, and the video is terrible. Absolutely terrible. I don't know, like, I was frightened about opening a sling, for Christ's sake. That tiny sling that I don't even know why I was scared. It was an absolute nightmare. The video was terrible. And that's what a lot of people have viewed. See, that's what I'm saying. I've got a video there about a Spider Shop unboxing that's hit like 1,000 and something views, which I know is not a lot to big YouTubers, but someone with a low amount of subs like me, that's quite good. And then I've got a certain species of Phasmid hitting 150. You know, 150 compared to over 1,000. It's awkward because I don't want to base my channel purely on what people want to view, but I also don't want to base a channel purely on just what I want, because then I won't get the audience. I won't get to share all this stuff. He does them. So, okay, is your friend on Facebook, or is it what kind of mystery box does he do? Does he do random inverts? Does he do tarantula boxes like the Spice Shop? What kind does he do? Jolie, I'm just reading yours. We've just got some Phasmids. Interested to learn more, however, mixing your content up will interest new subscribers. That's what I thought too. So if we look at it this way, you guys tell me what you think about this. So my work situation isn't good right now. I'm grabbing hours where I can, but that's temporary. That's only until the end of July. As soon as August's back in, my hours are back to what they were. My wages are back, and I can start buying again. I want to do another mystery box. I want to get a couple more mantis. I want to get a couple more stick insects. But how about maybe if I start rebuilding my stick insect collection, and then, as you said, throw something different in now and again. So rather than after that, I do another chunk of tarantulas or another chunk of mantis, I do my Phasmid building, then maybe just get one tarantula, do some more Phasmid building, get myself a new centipede. Well, so I'm going to read this, and I've got another question for you guys. It's up to you what you want in the box. Basically, tell him what you would like in the box, and he does it, but you may not get what you want. Invert insanity. Oh, I don't know if it was your channel, though. Have you just said something about it on your channel? I've seen someone say something. Was it you that did an unboxing from him there? I watched something with that name on. I can't remember if it was you or not. But here's the other question for you guys. So you're probably, yeah, it was. Okay, yeah, I did watch it. I actually need to finish watching it, Ben, because I was started to watch it, but I actually finally had some hours in a different place to where I would normally work. I'm getting the odd hours here and there, and I had to go to sleep. But I did start watching that. You've just reminded me to finish watching it, so I'll finish watching that in like an hour's time or whatever when I've eaten. Here's the other question for you guys. Obviously, tarantulas are exciting to watch eat. Yeah, they're exciting to watch house. Now, if you had to watch an invert-based YouTuber, okay, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who it is, right? Someone that's charismatic, someone you like to watch, right? But it's the invert you want to see. Say tarantulas were non-existent or banned, or you were sick of them, you didn't want to see tarantulas anymore. What would be the second most interesting invert for you guys to enjoy watching on your weekly basis? See, with me, if I can't watch a tarantula feeding video, for example, I enjoy centipede feeding because they're savage. I've only got one at the moment, and it's still about this big. It's just appealing. But I'm curious to see if you guys couldn't watch tarantulas anymore, what would be the next invert that you would watch? I've been trying to figure this out for ages from other people's point of views. I think with me, it'll be the tarantulas are always going to be pretty high up there when it comes to feeding and things. I think step down from them for me will probably be centipedes. And then down from that will probably be mantis. I don't know why mantis don't get as much views as they should. I mean, they're ferocious little blighters. I nearly swore then. They're ferocious. They're great to watch. I love watching them, like John from Nerd Room. Why that guy hasn't got thousands upon thousands of subscribers, I have no idea. I met the guy at the BTS, got on like a house on fire, forced a hug on the guy. He didn't even want to hug me. He just stood there, and I was like, no. I love that guy. I love his content. He's funny, and I love watching his mantis. But people just are not interested enough, and that blows my mind because they're. With them, I don't know the anatomy properly, but you know the way their arms are, the way they snatch, pull in, and they're eating something while it's still alive. I think it's brilliant. So you do like mantis? See, that's good to know. That is good to know because there's something that I'm probably second most comfortable with down from Phasmid. I couldn't give you full care sheet information on all mantis, but it's something that I'd be willing to learn about. Like, for example, breeding. I don't see myself ever breeding tarantulas, and that's because I don't feel comfortable in doing that. Maybe a few years down the line when I'm a lot more experienced with them, then yeah. But right now, no. Breeding phasmids, easy. I'll do it anytime, any species, anywhere, not a problem. Breeding mantids, I haven't actually successfully done it yet, but it's something that I would feel comfortable doing. I know the process of it. I know how to fatten them up. I know how to keep the female distracted. I know when the point of the female may turn on the male and what point to separate if need be, if you're quick enough. I feel comfortable doing that. So mantids and stick insects are still going to be a big thing for me. They just don't hit the views, and I want to hit the views. I'm not trying to sound greedy. I'm not trying to sound selfish or put my channel above anybody else's. But I do. I want to be able to communicate. Do you know how excited I get when I just get comments? Just simple comments. Even if I wake up in the morning and I've looked at a past video and someone's just gone, good video. Something as basic, plain as that still makes me wake up with that smile. If I get a question in that video, I feel amazed. I mean, somebody, I don't know who it was, asked if I was attending a certain show once. I couldn't attend it. But you know how great that made me feel? Somebody actually wants me there. Somebody wants me. You know, the little guy. I'm nowhere near people like Tarantula Dan, Petco from the Dark Den, you know, Exotics Lair. You know, I'm not even like a percentage in comparison to those big guys. And yet somebody still wanted to meet me, you know. And when I went to, sorry, I will read in a moment, guys. When I went to the BTS, I felt like I can't even explain. So I'll tell you a little story, and then I'll read your comments. So when I showed up at the BTS, right, I was getting early access with the Spider Shop, and I arrived before the Spider Shop, and they'd sorted out the room for me to stay in and everything. So that had been previously arranged, right? That's not something they just offer, right? I'm not going to go into the details of it. But while I was waiting for them, I thought, I'll go grab a beer. Went to the bar, got my drink, plonked it down, looked up, and as I looked up, I instantly recognized it was Mark from Mark's Tarantulas. You guys know Mark Tarantulas, right? And I just saw him say he had sunglasses on as well, but you could tell, he's a muscly bloke. And before I could even say, "Oh my God, hello, Mark," he stood up, shook my hand, and went, "Bug rounds. How are you doing, Sam?" And for someone with a few thousand subscribers, and me being the little guy, I wasn't even on 250 before the BTS. No, I was on about 200, between 250 and 260 when I went to the BTS. And to have that made me feel amazing. When Tarantula Dan showed up, when Petco showed up from the Dark Den, they knew who I was. They may not follow me, but they knew who I was. John from Nerd Room knew who I was. It was absolutely insane. And even being the little guy, to have people that know me made me feel absolutely amazing. Sorry, I'm blabbering on. Let me have a read what you were saying. Don't live long enough for me to keep. Yeah, that is the problem with Mantis. They don't have a huge lifespan. Mine are actually pretty old. I don't know. They should be dead by now. I prefer to get them grown on a little. Prefer assassin bugs now. I really want to get them, but I would quite like to get an assassin bug species that's not as commonly kept, because you see a lot of white spotted, a lot of red spotted. I can't remember how to pronounce it. There's something horrida species. The ones that I think they're all brilliant. But I'd like to try and go for something a little bit unique. A few of my tarantulas I've had just over 20 years. Yeah, that is the good thing about tarantulas, is their lifespan. Same with the Phasmid, you don't get that. You're looking at like a year, 2 years tops. But the positive side to the Phasmids is they breed like mad. And although you may lose the ones that you raised from babies, you're already, in most cases, raising their babies. So when they die, you're already looking after their young. So it's like a continuous thing. You can leave them be to breed most of the time. So whether they're parthenogenic and they can breed by themselves, or whether they're sexual reproduction only and you've got a male and female, you let them do their thing. You can kind of like, there are things out there to entice it to happen more, but it's going to happen. All in all, it's going to happen. So let's read on. Oh, hi Jay. Hi. We got Boxing Boa in the house. He just did his live. Was anyone on his live? Virtual player. Oh, hello, guy. How you doing? Just got the notification. That's no problem, mate. It's no problem. I'll explain to you what this has been all about in a moment. You were there? Cool. Right. So for those of you that's just joined, in a nutshell, you guys probably already know I'm mostly a Phasmid guy, but I do love all my inverts. Now I'm talking the future of the channel, and one passion I have, and I will always have, is the Phasmids. I'd like to get back into building my collection of those, even though it's quite tiring because it's a lot more effort than tarantula care. But at the same time, I was discussing with these guys how they don't hit quite the views that I would need. And I would like to gain, sorry, I'd be happy once I hit that 1K mark in subscribers. And as I said, these guys, that's not about anything to do with advertisement or money. That's to do with, I feel that's a really good milestone that I want to hit. And I like, as you guys know, I like chatting. I like communicating with the world. And I should have enough coming in then to keep on talking to people. But my concern is if I start, I'll still keep all the inverts I've got. I'll still get the odd few more tarantulas. There's some I've got in mind. I still want to get the odd few other things. But if I want to solely go back to majority of Phasmid keeping, I'm concerned that my channel will drop rather than rise, because they're not the most interesting thing to other people. Although I love them, I don't want to lose what I've got, or my channel go to a halt because of what I love. I'll take care. Dean's Transfers, thank you very much for joining. I do appreciate it. So yeah, what are your guys' thoughts? I understand I've got to do what's right for me and I've got to do what I enjoy. But at the same time, as a YouTuber, you guys know we're entertainers as well. And I'm scared that I won't be giving that sort of entertainment when my majority is my Phasmid collection. Okay, I like the way you phrased that. So it's the passion, not the inverts, that bring people together. Yeah, to you. Yeah. So yeah, okay, I can see that. I do see that. And the thing is, I've not bought anything, nothing that I own, I've bought purely for the channel. I've always done it for me. Like even the mystery box, the Spy Shop mystery box that I got a few months back, that was my own excitement that I wanted to share with other people. And it was a terrible video. I do want to do another one. I do want one more mystery box. But I'm just scared of finding the new people. I mean, you look at certain channels that will put up this one great tarantula video and sometimes even a bit of clickbait, which I don't like clickbait, but they'll have a really good like what's the word, thumbnail or wording, and it's something that will get people's blood going. Oh, tarantulas are cool, let's watch this guy. You know, we've watched so and so, let's give this guy a try. But I don't know, I think I'd find it hard to imagine somebody sat there watching Exotics Lair or Dark Den or even yourselves and then going, feeding video tarantulas, what's this on the side? Let's look at stick insects. I don't know, I just don't see it happening. You'll do what makes you happy. You should never do anything for someone else. Do what makes you happy. Hiya, Beginner's Burrow. I'm glad you've joined. Sorry, I don't want to keep going into it for everybody else, but where they're talking about do what I enjoy, I was explaining to these guys how once I'm back to work again properly and I've got my proper hours, there's a few more inverts I want to collect, and then I want to go back into my Phasmid collecting, because where I got rid of a lot of my collection some years back, I miss it. I really miss it. I don't miss the collecting of the plants every week, because that got a nightmare, because not all of them will feed off something as simple to get as bramble or privet. You know, I had some that were only stinging nettle eaters, for example, and that's all fine and well. I just put on a pair of gloves, but getting it in winter, they're still growing winter, but they're so much harder to find. And it's winter that's my concern. You know, the oak dies out. We don't, in my hometown, we have very few or none that I know of evergreen oaks in. So the oak eaters, I struggle to get for. The bramble cuts right back. It's a nightmare. But the keeping of them, the cleaning them out, the care of them, the raising their young, that is what I do really, really enjoy. And I'm just hoping that people as viewers can share that passion with me and enjoy that, not just the scary tarantula, centipede, you know, all of that kind of stuff. I love having my tarantulas. I love everything I keep. But if I start going more into the stick insects, I just don't want things to plummet, because having this connection with you guys, the community, the random subscribers, has really uplifted me in a way that I can't even explain. And I will take it to heart if I have a plummet. I'm not going to sit there and lie and go, it's fine, I just lost 100 subs. Who cares? I'm doing what I enjoy. It would hurt me. It really would hurt me, because I feel that I'm failing the people that are watching me, and I want us to enjoy things together, you know? So I want stick insects, but I worry about the food. Yeah, so it depends on what species. I mean, most species of bramble is an evergreen. So although they get cut back, if you go into if you've got any woodlands near you or large park areas, they tend to still be there. It's just finding the right leaves at the time, because sometimes they brown off. So I am going back now. So people saying hi to each other. Okay, cool. In a city, unfortunately. Yeah, I am. Do you get any large parks that kind of have some growing on the edges? Because I've got, you probably watched my bramble collecting video. It looked like it was kind of more in the wild, but really that was just a large park. All I did was stray off from the road, or the main path, sorry, in the park to get my bramble spot. And not every stick insect will eat bramble, by the way, but that's just a majority. Hiya, by the way. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude, but I don't actually know how to pronounce your name. Ajishan? I don't know, mate. I'm sorry. I'm not very good with pronunciation. But hi, thank you for joining. Underrated. Don't you need to look for some? Yeah, just look around. So, and I agree, they are underrated. They really, really are. I mean, some of the ones I showed, some of the responses I got was great. But obviously, there's still quite a lot of species out there. There are some beautiful species out there, though, mind. There really are. But there's some that might come across maybe a bit boring on the camera. But as a keeper, they're a challenge. So let me find the name of one. I can never remember the name of this species that I once kept that utterly destroyed me. Let me see. So I'm looking in my Phasmid book of, I cannot remember what they're called. Oh, I don't think they're in here. I've talked about them before and I cannot remember what they're called. Basically, I've mentioned it in videos before. You guys have probably seen at some point where I've mentioned there was a species I had and I accidentally wiped out the culture with a bad lot of eucalyptus that, although I was told didn't have pesticides on, clearly did because it wiped everything out. That species, which the name will come to me at some point, they were the biggest challenge for me. We had a gentleman from Belgium, I think it was, who distributed a load of eggs to a big bunch of us in the UK. I say big bunch, probably about 10 of us in the UK. All got these, and he raises them fine, no problem. Nearly everyone in the UK failed their culture, right? Nearly everyone. They just could not get them past sort of second or third insta. They were just dying, just going like flies. I had a few nymphs die, but I managed to get one all the way to sub-adult. So he was one molt away. It's not like tarantulas where you've got an adult and it can molt further. With a stick insect, once it's reached adulthood, there's no more molting, right? So it was one molt away when that thing wiped out my culture, when that eucalyptus plant wiped out my culture. And I would have been not one of the only ones, but one of the only ones within the Phasmid sort of community that I had found on Facebook and stuff, would have been one of the only ones to actually successfully raise it to an adult. And my own stupid mistake wiped it out. And to me, getting those again would be a hell of a challenge, but I don't know if it would be a challenge enough for a viewer to see. Sorry, I'm reading your comments again now, guys. So you want one that was really colourful, can't remember whose video it was in. Was it Tarantula Cave with the Aphalax? Bright blue, sort of golden legs, red wings. Yeah, they are stunning. They're from Madagascar, those. They're beautiful. The female, I can't remember if you showed the female or not. Females keep a very bland brownish colour, but the males are absolutely stunning. Mine, sadly, I did have them. Mine died in winter. When we had a really cold winter in the UK this year, like way colder than it's been in many, many years. And my room, I was struggling to keep the temperature in it. So what I did is I collected a few species and I put them within the same enclosure. Their care requirements were similar, but not the same. And they ended up dying on me. And the thing is, they would have died anyway in that freezing cold. There was nothing I could do to keep that temperature right. I didn't have the funds to buy like an extra heating, because every winter things have survived fine with just like radiator temperature. But that radiator was not heating that room at all. I could not keep it warm. And unfortunately, I lost my culture of those. I raised them from young nymphs all the way to adulthood, gone again. So I was a bit gutted, but I do plan on getting some more. But yeah, they are a beautiful species. Sorry, I'm just reading your message to those guys, Peter. I like hearing about expos. You guys chat about that. You chat away, because I kind of like listening about these, especially when they're on the other side of the world to me. Got to take the good with the bad. Yeah, that's right. And yeah, I was gutted I lost them. But, you know, I did manage to raise them all the way to adult, and I enjoyed doing that. So good luck to Martin. I hope that he does well with them, because he's bought them as adults. So hopefully they're already pretty hardy, and he should do well. False Widow's fine. It's in there, actually. Probably recognise the enclosure now I've pointed it out. I won't show you, and the only reason I won't show you is because it hides behind the bit of bark, and I can't angle it right to get that. And it had a feed yesterday, so it's probably not going to take to anything today. But it very, very rarely comes out of that bark. The webbing is only around that part, unfortunately. I was kind of hoping she would, because the small container she was in, it was only like this big, and she'd webbed the whole thing. And I was hoping she would do something similar in there, but she's just happy staying in the dark. Love the mug. Yeah. It's shameless advertising. Got my mantis on the back. I took that picture. Love it. That one's old as well. She's still alive. I don't know how she's still alive. Species of which thing? Were we talking about the mantis, or were we talking about the widow? Sorry, I don't know. I don't always check the comments straight away. Oh, the false widow. You know what? I don't actually know. He's written it in one of my comments on one of my videos, and I actually tried to look for it before I made the video about her, and I could not find it. So it was the gentleman from White Rose Tarantulas is the one that gave me it, and I'll have to get back in touch with him. Maybe he'll join on here. I doubt it, because we've already been yapping for ages. But if he were to come on, we'll chat to him. We'll find out, or I'll message him after this, because I completely forgotten which species it is. Hope you get a black widow. Do you need a license for a black widow? I heard you do, but maybe that's just over here. I don't know. Might just be a UK thing. Not in the USA. Nice. That's class. That's class. Yeah, I hope you get one. You have to show me if you do. I'd be well excited to see that. I love seeing things that we can't get over here. I'll tell you what I am looking forward to. Do you guys, any of you guys actually, like, I know you chat to him within the group, but if any of you guys follow Vic, Spidey V, being in South Africa, man, I cannot wait for him to do, he did his nature walk, but he didn't really find a lot, but I can't wait for him to do like more outdoorsy stuff and show him what he has there, because there's some crazy stuff over in South Africa. And I've actually been invited for free accommodation to stay in South Africa. But I just can't afford the flights at the moment. I just can't. But maybe when I can save up the money, I can go over and do a video for you guys. But it's going to be a fair while yet. Right, sorry guys, I'm lost where we are here. Where's my mouse gone? Down there. Let me scroll back and read what you were talking about. So, Boxing Bow, you said what do you think is the hardest thing for new keepers? New keepers in what in general? Or do you mean, or are you asking them about it for widows? Yeah, where Beginner's Burrow mentions about right care info, there's like that's a nightmare for most people. I wonder how people did it so well. I mean, I know a lot of mistakes were made, but people managed to keep things way back before the internet, way back when things were, you know, found these days to be completely wrong information in books and some of the old school books. It's nuts to know how people managed to learn something. Like, so if I'll take the Phasmid, for example, here for learning, there's a very good website run by a chap called Bruno. The internet broke free thinking. Yeah. Yeah, it's a guy called Bruno who's like, I see him as the god of Phasmids. He's a very busy man. Oh, with the Phasmids. All right, Jay. So I'll tell you. So in the beginning, I don't think you were in the live when I first said it, but my very first interest in Phasmid was the Extatasoma tiaratum, or Maclay spectre, or giant prickly, however you want to call it. And I failed that one. It died in a molt. Now, I'm not saying that was my fault. It got stuck in the molt, but I didn't have the knowledge then to know ways where I could have prevented that properly just from a bit of information online. So then I joined a Facebook group. I'm in a few. I'm in A to Z, inverts A to Z worldwide are a really, really friendly group. But I joined that one a little bit later. I was in one. I can't remember what it's called. Let's have a look. I'm just looking it up now. It's like a list of things. Stick insects, praying mantis, millipedes, beetles, and moths, run by a lady named Helen. Helen is also a seller in a lot of our shows that we've got in the UK. And she has got like a vast amount of knowledge. Like her front room, every room in her house is stacked with stick insects and mantis and things like that. But mostly the stick insects is what she does, them and mantis. And like, you've got no room anywhere. You know, like where you can see my Blu-rays behind me, she would have had that stacked to that light. Behind that TV would have been stacked. Over the other side of the room would have been stacked. You see the pictures of her cleaning day. She's got rooms dedicated to them. It's nuts. She's got a huge amount of information, and she's the first one that started explaining things to me, and she was the one that started buying off, and she would provide me care information. But as Beginner's Burrow said, that is one of the toughest things, is finding the information, because people think, a lot of people have this mindset that a stick insect is just the Indian stick insect. It's just the 50p thing that looks like a little twig that you buy from the shop, that you keep with whatever leaves you want, and it will live. And that's not the case. So it's that mentality that people need to break, I think. And they are not like that at all. They're not going to eat anything. I mean, I've got the list here of the known plants that they will eat. I mean, they're the best eaters by far. But if you compare it to something different, so if we look here, so this is your Indian, right? So we've got them eating privet, ivy, hawthorn, bramble, raspberry, oak, hazel, rose, pyracantha, if I said that right, and a list of other things, yeah? And then if we were to move on, this is where people make mistakes. They go, oh, okay, we've just discovered there's 3,000 odd species that I could have. So let's have a look. Parapachymorpha zomproi. I don't have these anymore. They will eat bramble and hawthorn. So you stick in the oak with them because you've been feeding something else on oak or ivy or privet. These guys aren't going to take to it. They're going to die. The other thing, a lot of it's misinformation. So I know I keep going off subject here, but so I'm just checking out, missed anything here. So misinformation is one of the biggest things in phasmid keeping that I struggled with, which is the ivy thing is a massive thing to me. So Indians are really, really hardy, right? They will survive cold temperatures. They will eat almost anything. People can rear them exclusively on ivy and then survive fine. The problem is then other people that know species that will take to ivy will start providing them ivy because it's so easy to get ivy. Probably easier to find ivy than it is bramble, especially where I live. The problem is ivy has a high toxicity level, and that gets into the phasmids. And once that overdose, it's like us taking alcohol. Let's say we're drinking a lot of alcohol. You have too much, you're going to poison yourself, right? Now, could you imagine constantly drinking that amount of alcohol so much that it can cause you harm every single day, right? That's the same thing with them having ivy. So it should never be used as a staple food plant because of the toxicity levels. Yes, you can chuck some in as a treat. Indians will probably raise fine on it. You put that in with another species, you're risking your whole culture. And that isn't so widely spread. And that's something a lot of people need to know. So I'll see what's there. Take it easy. Have a good one, everyone. I have a date with 5 Italian pieces named Pepper. All right. Cheers, buddy. Thanks for joining. I appreciate you coming along. So before, because obviously I've been on for quite a while now, before I start moving on, is Dean's Tarantula still here? Are you still here, buddy? If you're still here, because I need to answer your question from the very beginning. We'll give him a minute to answer. If he's not here, I'll just Facebook him. It's fine. But he asked me a question. I said I'd get back to it, so I want to stick to my guns and answer him. Beginner's Burrow. Oh, he had to go. Oh, did I? I might. I don't know if I said bye or not. I'll Facebook him. That's fine. All right, you have to go. No worries. I hope you have fun at work. I've already been today. My first shift in like 2 weeks. We do joint. Yeah, we definitely do. It's just the time zones that's a problem. I mean, for example, it's 9:15 at night here. I bet it's nothing like that where you are. But yeah. Anyway, I've kind of blabbed on a bit here, but thanks for chatting, guys. So I feel a little bit better about getting back into my Phasmid collection, and I think people are right on that. If people could see my passion, they'll enjoy that. And I think there's a lot to be taught. There's not that many YouTube videos about them, and I'm not pointing any fingers. And none of you guys are in the community, by the way. But people that I got before I started my YouTube have given quite rubbish information about care, and I've never provided full detailed care sheets, but I do plan to, because there's so many different requirements. Oh, hang on, I've got a notification pop up here. Let me just get rid of that. 3:43 p.m. So early for me on the weekend, I guess. Happy birthday to you, because other than you, I think there's only like 2 or 3, if that. Yeah. So I mean, it's just so vast. They've got, there's different requirements for ventilation, for example. These are the main. Okay, so the key things here is not just your food plant. So you've got your basic. You've got height of enclosure. Okay, so you have to always bear in mind height of enclosure when it comes to phasmids, more than width. Width is still important to a degree, but height is going to be your main thing. All right, so that will be just like sticking an arboreal tarantula into a very small terrestrial tarantula enclosure. It's just not right. So they really need height to successfully molt. Then there's types of cages. So some are going to do better in netted cages, airy cages. Some are going to do better in things like exoterras, plastic tanks. Then there's humidity levels. Humidity levels vary as well. And the ones that get tricky are where they need high ventilation, so netted cage kind of really high ventilation. But they also need warm, which, yes, you can get by putting, the temperature up in there. You can do that. But then they also need humid. And you're like, hang on a moment. So you need high humidity, high heat, but a netted cage. So it's a bit of the challenge then to go around and try and adapt that to them, because they may well survive in that other environment, but they're not going to be healthy. They can have unsuccessful molts. They can be damaged. I mean, I've recently had one that's come out of a molt with only 3 legs. And I think that was because I went away for a couple of days and I didn't have the humidity. We had a really, really high heat here, and it just cancelled out, just evaporated half of the water in there. And he decided to molt at the time I happened to be away, thus causing him to stick within, and he had to break his own legs off to be free. And it happens. It happens. Right, sorry, I'm a bit behind on what's been written here. Anyway, later, everyone, to you see you streaming sound. Thank you, Beginnersborough. I'm not sure if you're still here, but take care if you're not. If you are, can you do that with live plants in the cage? Do which bit exactly? So you obviously you will have the plant. So when you say the live plants, so do you mean as in potted, as in continue to live? Because obviously we normally cut stems off. So with a full live plant, let's say for example it's a bramble eater, and I bought myself, yeah, cool. If I bought myself a bramble plant, it wouldn't last. We've all kind of come up with that idea here and there, and it's not going to last. They will eat those leaves before it's got a chance to grow new ones. That's the downside. So what a lot of people do, I don't have a garden. I'm not fortunate enough to have a garden. I live in a small flat on above another person who happens to have a garden. If I were to grow my own, like several plants, and then I could pick small bits at a time, still collect from the wild, as it were, until my plants are really, really big, then it would be all right. But putting it in there, they literally devour it before it's got a chance to grow anything new. They will eat all day long, or at least all night long. The only things I found with a live plant being successful without it being completely eaten are ones that eat ferns. So there are certain species that will only take to specific type of ferns. You put the fern in there, they don't eat it as quick as the fern grows, unless you've got absolutely tons of them. So they tend to be, that tends to be the only plant that I know of where something will successfully, well, it can grow at the same sort of steady pace as them eating, so it would continue to thrive. But yeah, if you stick a bramble plant in there, gone. Okay, for someone like me with a yard, the best would be to grow your own. Yeah, growing your own. What I would suggest, if, say, for example, I don't know the laws in your exact part over there, but I know there's a lot over that way that can't keep certain species. But let's say it was in the UK and everything was allowed, stick insect wise. If I had a big garden, what I would do, I'd probably have several bramble plants ready to grow up a wall, if you've got a wall. Maybe 1 or 2 raspberry mixed in there as well, because although most things that will take to the blackberry will still take to the raspberry, but some of them prefer one over the other. So then I'd have that growing up there. If it was possible to have a privet hedge, that would be amazing. So if you could have any form of privet hedge, because then you can, every time, instead of cutting that back each year, you're still cutting it back, but you're providing feed for the phasmids. So you've got a constant flow of privet. I would have your slightly more damper section where you've got your ferns growing. I'd have a section where you've got your stinging nettles growing. I mean, depending on how big the garden was, if you had a really big garden, I'd stick an oak tree right in that middle there to grow up high, because that would be amazing, because there's quite a lot of things that will eat from oak. I probably wouldn't bother with the ivy just because it's normally pretty easy to get hold of and it will overgrow your garden. You've got an oak tree. Oh my goodness. You're living the dream. You're living my dream right now. I would love to have a garden with an oak tree. That's absolutely amazing. Oh, wow, man. I need a garden. I seriously need a garden. But yeah, literally the biggest things, most will take to either a privet or a bramble. Then you've got the specialty ones that will go to ferns, go into nettles. Eucalyptus, that's the other thing that you would have to get hold of. A lot of things, not a lot of things, but a chunk of things will take to eucalyptus. And there are a few species out there that will take to bramble when they're first hatched. Sometimes they'll just die off because they won't take to the bramble straight away. When they're older, they'll take to it. But when they're younger, they want the eucalyptus. And I have successfully raised things without eucalyptus before, but you're going to have a higher death rate. So even with the X-Tatisoma auratum, they're an Australian species. Over there, they are eating eucalyptus. They're not eating bramble, but they will take to it here. But the newborn nymphs will prefer to take to eucalyptus. So having one of those is certainly handy. I mean, we've got in Plymouth, my hometown, we have one eucalyptus tree, and it's about a 45-minute walk from my house. and I'm not allowed to clip from it. I can actually get in trouble doing that, but I do now and again. Oh, got me mouse in the way of what you love this learning so much. Oh, I'm glad you are. I didn't expect to be live for so long. I've just yabbered on. If people want to shoot, I'm not going to find you rude. You know, I'm just here to chat. And if you want to continue chatting, guys, we'll continue chatting. If people want to shoot off, feel free to shoot off. I ain't going to take any offense to it. I know I've just been talking rubbish at you for an hour and 5 minutes, but you know, I needed to get some stuff out there, out my system, and make myself feel better. And people have helped to provide that. And it's great to be able to talk about the Phasmids live. It really is, because I can just, that's why I keep going slightly off subject. I feel like I can explode talking about them. And that's the difference between me keeping them and keeping some of the other inverts, is although I love them both the same, I can really explode about talking about the Phasmids. Oh, you're back. Oh, and hello, Peter Webster as well. Dean's Tarantulas. Sorry, I never answered your question earlier. Do you want to ask me what the question was regarding to your over, exactly your problem? And I will discuss that with you now. And Peter Webster, I don't suppose by any, I haven't watched your newest one yet, by the way, Peter, but I don't suppose you found any of the stuff that's managed to escape off you yet, have you? So you want to know how you keep them in general. So there are various methods of overkeeping, and I do plan on doing videos on them. Are you guys cool there for 1 second if I go and grab something and I can show you then a few methods on how to do it? Bear with me. Vermiculite misted once a week, you can certainly do that. Yeah, I will show you. If anyone joins, guys, and they're wondering what's going on, just let them know I'm going to be back in a minute. I'm just going to grab something to show you. All right, I won't be long. I do have to go upstairs for this, so I might be like a minute. Coming, guys. Oh, right. I'm sorry about that. I just still all there. Right. So I'm going to show you three different methods here. So, well, I'm just checking no one else has said anything different. Oh, hi, Ghosty, by the way. Sorry, I don't know if I was here when you were. Right. So for Dean's Tarantulas, yeah. So your most basic method, and this will work for them as well as many other things. Cricket tubs, live food tubs. Always use these, always will. They work so well. They've got perfect ventilation for over, right? You can go as simple as, this is actually toilet roll, but kitchen towel will be better because it holds in the moisture more. If you get like a kitchen towel, put it in the bottom, mist the kitchen towel, not the over, just the kitchen towel, place your over on the top, mist it now and again, lid on, job done. Right, that's your most basic method. Another method. So this here is actually a little mixture of like topsoil or cocoa fiber, whichever you want to use. Some vermiculite, because the vermiculite will hold in the moisture, and bits of moss. Now the bits of moss are not just there for moisture, they're there for, it doesn't matter if this dries out, right? You can also use certain like I'm not sure of pine needles, but something similar. Basically, sorry, I thought I had one in there then. When they'll hatch through, moss or pine needles, things like that, they'll grasp on and it helps them release from the egg. So certain ones, you'll find eggs still attached to their legs, for example, and they may lose a leg by trying to get out of the egg. You put something on the top like that, just a little bit, they can cling on, and as they pull themselves through, it will knock the egg off. So this is just a blend, like I said, of like a soil-based substrate, vermiculite, little bit of moss on the top, and here's some over here. Just resting on there. Misting depends as well. You can mist once a week, but do it as a light misting. A lot of people over mist their over. I used to over mist my over. I'll go into that in a minute. I want to show you this last method and I'll go into your humidity levels. Third method. So I've got vermiculite in the bottom, okay, to hold in moisture. Then inside, I have another tub with a bit of sand. Doesn't have to be sand, okay? These are just different methods I've used. This method, all three of these methods I've had successfully, all right? Within that tub, bit of sand, over, resting on the sand. These are Ectatosoma tiaratum over in here, okay? A lot of these are actually empty eggs because they've already hatched, but there's a few in there that aren't. So what I'll do then is I'll damp this down more than I normally would. I'd give it a heavy misting, but take this out, right? Then I'll place this back in. You could do this with other species. Put the lid on. The moisture will stay in here. I put a bit of a mist on the lid as well. A little bit of that will drip into the sand, making the sand slightly damp, but then none of the overs actually getting properly wet itself. It's just humid without the over being wet. Sorry, I'm just going to read. We've been in the post for 2 days now. Good luck with that. MC Exotics, damn, I'm late. Sorry, no, that's fine, that's fine. I'm just talking over with Dean's tarantulas there about over. So yeah, so that's like a third method. You can also use a soil-based substrate with springtails. The springtails are not going to harm the eggs. Okay, they will keep any mold growth away. That's the biggest problem with the tissue method. Oh, hang on, I'm going to be dropping things here. With the tissue method, your biggest concern is mold. Okay, it will grow on you, and you'll have to take the tissue out, get a fine paintbrush, slightly brush over the over to make sure there's no mold or too much excess moisture on the over, then place them back in. That's the only issue you're going to have with this method, is the mold growth. Now, one important thing with Ectatosoma tiaratum over, they do require a dry spell. You don't have to mist these once a week. You can mist them even once a fortnight of a light misting. Sometimes that will encourage it a little bit, but I found with these, I have left these over a month before with no misting, and they have hatched successfully. They don't require a lot, this particular species, of misting. So I would put it once a fortnight of a light mist, and then do that for maybe a month, then give it a dry spell for about 3 weeks, and then mist again for a few more weeks, then give it a dry spell. That's what works for me anyway. They are from Australia, so they are used to there not being a lot of moisture in the air. So that's what I would do. I would put them personally either on the vermiculite, on soil with springtails, or put them in a separate tub on top of substrate. And when you spray, just spray this substrate, not the actual over. That's how I would do it, and that's what's been quite successful for me. So I didn't even read. Yeah, that's no problem. That's no problem. Of course, there are different species require different things. Most species that will feed off ferns, for example, they like a hell of a lot of humidity, so you want to be spraying them a bit more. But the biggest problem people do with over is they over mist, and it's the same with the insects themselves. People always make the mistake of over misting. There's a lot of websites out there that will say certain species require 2 mists a day. That's a load of tripe. Right, I know people that have lost loads of their stick insects from over misting because the humidity levels, I don't exactly know what it does, but it ends up crippling a lot of species. Some do like a lot of humidity, There's a lot of species that are well over misted, and they die because of that. 8 to 9 months, dependent. I think I spoke to you before about it. If you've got only females, you're going to be looking at between 9 months and a year for hatching. Don't bin them if they haven't hatched over a year. Some have taken a lot longer than that. Okay, just change your method a little bit. Maybe add more of the misting or less of the misting if it's been that sort of time and nothing's come through, because it doesn't mean they're not going to hatch, right? Don't think the male is old enough. Okay, that's fine. So parthenogenically, 9 months to a year. If you've got your male in there, you're looking more like 6 months, I think. Let's have a look. It might even be a bit less. I've got it written in here somewhere. Or maybe I haven't. Okay, I haven't. Yeah, but it's going to be, I haven't got it written in there. Yeah, probably about 6 months if it's sexual reproduction. Where I was talking about misting as well, nymphs of most species require more misting than adults. So you can mist the Ectatosoma tiaratum babies once or twice a week. If you're going to do it twice, do it slightly lighter mist, but it will still provide them enough water droplets to drink from. As they get older, they need less and less. Adults of Ectatosoma tiaratum literally just need enough to drink from. I don't spray anything except one little side of the enclosure once a week, and they'll drink from that, and they're fine. They don't require a lot of misting. But as young nymphs, they do have a little bit more, and that's the same with most species. So when they're younger, they require a little bit more. So your males normally mature earlier than females. So it might just be that your females were older when you got them, but generally males a month and a half mature before females. So with your male, do you think that it's subadult yet? Yeah, I'm still going, Ben. You don't have to stay, mate, if you don't want to. You're more than welcome to, of course, if you do want to. I'm just chatting now. So with Dean's tarantulas, with your male, has he got wing buds yet? Has he got like small wings? Not be able to fly, but like little ones. If he's got little wings, then his next molt, he'll have full-blown wings. Got wings, they aren't long. Yes, so he's probably subadult. So this is the crazy thing, right? This is the absolute crazy thing about these males, yeah? So they have these tiny little wings. They can't fly. Their next molt, their wings are longer than their abdomen, all right? So say these guys are about this big, yeah? Their wings were like this big. Their wings then extend out past the abdomen in one molt. So in the time it takes them to hang upside down, get rid of that old exoskeleton, suddenly they're fully winged and able to fly. It's absolutely nuts to think that half hour beforehand couldn't fly, didn't have wings. It's crazy. Sorry, Peter, I'm just going to read up now. Queen product due to bad molt. Sorry, Peter, I will read yours in a minute. They can regenerate in the next molt. It may not be perfect, but fingers crossed for you. They should still mate fine, though. So your next generation should be fine. If the male's got damage, they're not going to discard him. He still should be able to mate with the females, and you should be able to get good young. So, Peter, sorry to jump in, Sam, but trying to get opinions on what to buy next. What do you guys suggest? T Sturmy or T Blondie? Okay, so Peter, here's my personal opinion. First of all, I'm presuming, I mean, you've got more tarantulas than me. You know they're big, right? Sturmies are cool. I've got a T Sturmy baby, spiderling, but I think the Blondie is the real deal. Personally, I love a T Sturmy. I love them, but if I were to choose between a Sturmy and a Blondie, and they were my choice, and I didn't already have my Sturmy, I would go for the Blondie. That's just my personal opinion because I think they're amazing. I think they are the true Goliath bird eaters. That's just my opinion, though. If anyone else wants to chip in on what Peter was saying, yeah, T Blondie there as well. Probably a lot of money though, Peter. You don't waste all your funds on spiders now. Unless, of course, you're loaded, and then, you know, you can send some money my way. And I'm joking. Tougher species to get hold of, and the price tags. Well, yeah, I completely agree. I saw some at the BTS. I can't remember how much they were going for, but Mighty Sturmy sling, and it was young sling. I think I couldn't tell you how old it was, but it was young. That I managed to get that for 35 quid, and the blondies at that size were more than double that, I think, at the show. But yeah. And the weird thing, I don't know if anyone has heard this before, but my story behind the T Sturmy was actually quite cool. So I didn't know all of this in the video when I did it. So the video is called Not So Goliath, Goliath, if anyone hasn't seen it. And I talked about friends got it for me, gave me money, early birthday present money. And that's how I afforded my sling. And the guy in the shop, I bought it from a shop, and he was telling me how a guy had a male and a female, didn't really know a lot about tarantulas, kept them together, never killed each other. These two tarantulas, male and female, T. Sturmy, have lived together for over a year in a very large tank. They bred. This guy panicked because there was loads of spiders running around his tank, loads of tarantulas, baby tarantulas, called a guy from the pet shop who came and collected them all to sell on. He sold a load to the spider shop. And then I found out later that a guy I work with, it was his brother who had the two T Sturmies. So I could have technically got one for free, but you know, it's what happens. So yeah, that's just my story about the T Sturmy. I just thought it was interesting. I mean, I don't know a huge amount with the tarantulas, but I would have thought she would have killed the male by now. Father's Day soon, and I have 5 kids, so see how much they care. Peter. I have 53, and it's 3 tree spiders and 10 other inverts and animals. Yeah, you're amazing, Peter. You really are. So do you want to send half your collection my way? And no, I'm joking. No, I love watching your stuff, even when you have things escape. You know, I know it's not a good thing. I shouldn't laugh about it, but it's a little bit funny. What is it you said about the centipede, the last centipede? You said something like, well, if I can't find a whatever inch one, I ain't going to find this one. And I shouldn't have laughed, but I was laughing along with you, not in a nasty way. And I just thought it was brilliant that you've got these things running around your house now. Oh, you tell you what, that's the problem I've got with escapees. I've had Phasmids escape, lots of Phasmids escape, as in I've walked in my bug room and had my ceiling black. Well, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but where there's not much white between each Phasmid. There are hundreds on my ceiling. Anyway, but my deal was I wasn't allowed tarantulas for years. Always wanted them, but my girlfriend was no, flat out no. And when I started my YouTube and she realised that this wasn't not just a YouTube, but the invert keeping and the YouTube together was a passion that I didn't intend on giving up on, she said, here's the deal. You're allowed to start getting tarantulas, but if one ever escapes and I find out it's escaped, I have to give away all of my tarantulas. So I can't risk it. Even a giddy one, I'd have to either lie to my girlfriend about the fact that it's escaped, or I'd have to pass my whole collection on to somebody. I know someone that would take them, so it's not like they're just going to be given away with bad care. But that's the deal I've got with her, and it's the only way I could keep them. You always smile no matter what goes wrong. I'm glad, Peter. I am glad. And yeah, get your kids to all save up this money. Get yourself one. Get yourself a blondie. It'll be brilliant. You'll love it. I'm surprised there's still people here. You know, I've done one live before this, and again, that was a non-scheduled live. That was a mental health awareness brief chat. And I do intend on doing proper lives at some point where I'm actually showing something and I'm actually doing something. But this was more just, I only thought I'd be on for about 20 minutes, and I didn't think many people would show up at all. So it's kind of nice to be able to sit here and just chat to you guys. I'm alone at the moment in the house, and it's just been nice to have that conversation. I'm not going to keep this on my channel because, or I might do, but I don't intend to for other people to watch. Just reading now, guys. I know my face goes off the screen when I read, but it's because this is done through a webcam, not my phone like I normally film on. Some of the slings got out. We were finding them all over the house, even 2 or 3 months later. That's brilliant. I'd love it. I'd love it, to be fair. I think it would be fun to go and find everything. Same way here. Brooke and Mum kept. No to transfer, so I just bought home one for her birthday. See, that's class. That's brilliant. Part of me thought maybe I should have just picked some up ages ago, because they always say what's the saying? It's easier to forgive than, I can't remember what it is. I don't even know if someone knows what it is. Something about it's better to get forgiveness than something. You know what? I'm tired. I don't even remember. The bug files. I've been here most of the video. Only just realised how to comment. So hi, hello, how are you doing? No problem with not being able to comment. I appreciate the fact that you've stayed here for such a large amount of time with me just talking absolute rubbish. So I appreciate that. Thank you very much. It happens. I love chatting to you and the other guys here, Sam. Oh, I love having you here, Peter. I love chatting to you too. I would have chatted to you longer at the BTS, to be fair, but it was a bit hot there. It was a bit crowded, and I had only a time limit left at that point because I couldn't stay for the whole show. But I did want to try and find you to say bye properly as well, but I was in such a hurry. I missed most people to say bye, to be fair. I think Martin was one of the... I saw Spider-Man, Alan Hickin. I said bye to him. And Martin from Tarantula Cave, because he was actually sat outside with my girlfriend where I picked up my last bits before I got a taxi to the train station. But most of the others I didn't get a chance to actually say bye to, which was a shame. So... Peter, did I ever tell you when I approached you at the BTS? It was quite funny because I spotted you and I thought to myself, that's Peter Webster. I'm sure that is. But I'm not really confident in approaching people that I'm not met before. I am like in a work situation, but to say hello in case it wasn't actually you, and how embarrassing would that have been? They would have been like, who's this weirdo? So what I did is I looked at you and I thought, I'm sure that's him. I'm sure that is him. Whipped out my phone, went onto your channel just to compare. And I actually had the phone behind you, not really close, but like this. Like, say you were over by the wall and I was like that, looking at you, and I was like, yeah, that definitely is him. Put my phone away, and then I had the courage to come and say hello to you. Oh, Jess, of course it is. You know what? When you said about your channel, when I was in the Facebook Live, I was so drunk. I'm sorry about that. I was so drunk. But I remember you saying the name of your channel now. I've related it to you now. Sorry, I didn't recognize you straight at the start. So hello, Jess. Yeah. Was I inappropriate on that live, by the way? Because I've never watched it back because I was too embarrassed. So please let me know if the live was okay. I know I had way too much rum that night. Time to go work out. Have a great day. Thank you, Sam, for all the info. Thank you. Take care, Jay. It's been great to have you here. I really appreciate the time that you spent in talking to me and checking out the live. So thank you very much. I'm not going to be on for much longer now, guys. I just want to hear what Jess has to say about my live. For those of you that didn't know, I did a Facebook live, drunk, and just to get to know people, kind of like this, just talking rubbish. And it was fun. No, you wasn't inappropriate. You dropped your man to say, yeah, I know. I woke up and that was one of the first things that popped in my head, and I thought I could have killed that. So no more handling inverts when you're drunk. That was a stupid idea. I tell you what, Jess, I don't know if I've mentioned this or not, but everyone. So we had me here, yeah. We had my friend James, was the guy with the glasses. My friend Dougal, who that's not his actual name, but we call him Dougal, was the guy with a big beard. And Kelly was the girl, yeah. She's one of my best friends. And everyone except for Kelly got in trouble that night or the next day. I James, the guy with the glasses, had some little spat with his girlfriend when he got home in the early hours. I had my friend Dougal, the one with the beards, partner, actually add me on Facebook to ask me what I have done to him because he's hiding in a wardrobe and he won't come out. Then I got in trouble because my girlfriend doesn't finish work until 6 in the morning. And I was still awake when she got home, drinking merrily on my sofa. She then goes up to go to bed, comes back down to go, because it's gone quiet, to go and try and get me into bed. But I've fallen asleep on my sofa with my mate Kelly. We've both fallen asleep on that sofa. So she wasn't very impressed that I didn't come to bed and that we both just passed out on that sofa. But it's what happens. It was way too long. It was like a ridiculous amount of drinking. Sorry, Dean, I didn't say bye to you, buddy. Thank you very much for coming along. Take care. I haven't, right, where am I? Peter, I have a new shirt ready for Bristol so people will know me. I felt honoured to be known by a YouTuber I love to watch and chat to. Oh, thank you. That really cheers me up to hear that. And I love watching you too, Peter. Well, I don't want anyone to feel left out. No matter how much I was kind of like, do I, don't I, is that him, is that not him? I thought to myself, like, everyone likes to be approached. Everyone likes to, well, you know, in the YouTube community, everyone likes to be known. And I enjoy watching your videos. I enjoy our conversations. And, you know, as you know, I like connecting with people. And I just thought, I'm not going to let that opportunity slide just because I'm not 100% sure whether it was you. I just go for it. So I'm glad I did. And I am going to be going very soon, guys. Give it another like 3 or 4 minutes and I'm going to be off because I've taken up way too much time, way off the point of this video. So I do feel better about the main point of this video, which was whether to go back into my Phasmid keeping more. I feel comfortable with that idea now. These sound really made my day. It made the madness worth it. Yeah, I saw your video where you said about you weren't very impressed with, you know, the way things were. And it was very, very hot and people were quite rude. I mean, I was fortunate enough to get that early access. So I got to see a lot of things without the crowds. But yeah, I could imagine, you know, that it would have been an issue for you, and I am sad that wasn't a positive experience for you because I had a very nice time. It would have been. I was hoping that everyone would have had that chance to enjoy it, but maybe one of the smaller shows, they're a bit less crowded if you ever go to them. Obviously, you said about Bristol. I'm trying to go to the Bristol show. I'm trying. I've got it booked off work, but because of my work situation and the hours are not there right now, I'm not sure I can afford it. I've got no way of getting up there. I don't have a lift. You know, if somebody could drive me, I'll pay them to drive me. But I don't know anyone down my way, down in Plymouth, down in the southwest, to take me up to Bristol. That I just don't know anybody and back again. So I certainly couldn't afford to stay the night before. And if I went in the morning, even if I could afford to travel by train, the train then goes to Bristol. I've then got to go to, was it Thornbury or something? From Bristol, which I don't know how long that will take. And by the time I get there, the show's probably going to be over. So I'm going to try and just keep asking around to see if someone could drive me, and I pay them like 50 quid to take me there and back, you know, on the same day, because that's the only way I can see I can do it. Drunk shenanigans didn't go well. Oh, yeah, let me know how it goes. Good luck to you. I hope it does go well. So you're going to be recording there, Jess? You're going to do a recording for your channel there? Sorry, I'm starting getting really tired now. So, is there any more questions as well, by the way, guys, before I shoot? Because there's only a couple of you here now anyway, I think. So if there's anything else anyone would like to say, please pop it in. Any more questions, please pop it in. You know, you can get hold of me through Facebook anyway if anyone wants me. I just wanted to make this to have a chat to people. That was all. I'm going to record it, and my dad has decided to go along as well, so he may feature too. Awesome. That's great. I honestly wish you the best of luck for it. What I can recommend for you doing the filming is anything that seems small and pointless to film that may have popped in your head to film, still do it anyway. Because if you don't want it in your footage, you can click the delete button. But if you get home and think this video would have looked better with that bit of footage that I thought about getting and didn't, there's no way of you getting that. So, you know, do snippets of the queue coming in maybe, or yourself in the queue, you know, get some of the crowd in there as well. Because what you'll find is a lot of people watch these videos to see if they can find themselves just dotted around in the crowds. So it doesn't matter if you're a big YouTuber or a small YouTuber, they'll be searching those words, you know, and looking at everybody's videos to see if they were in there. So try and get some shots where you're maybe spinning around or you're showing the crowds of people, because people will look for that then. Not as much footage as possible. Click my iPad for it. Good job. Want to feature the journey too? Yeah, do it. People like it. You can always time lapse things anyway. Even if you can't time lapse it on what you're recording, you can do it afterwards with editing software. So people like to see it. So yeah, it's definitely worth it. What is the time anyway? Oh my goodness, I have been on for ages. So I'm going to probably leave it there now, guys. Thank you so much for joining me and making me all feel better. It's been great to have you here. I said this in my last live and I'll say it again. I will do a proper professional specific live where I'm actually recording something for you guys to see. But sometimes I just like to get out there and have a chat to people, see who wants to join me, who wants to chat. And that's it. Just general chit chat. So congratulations once again. Oh, thank you very much. You melt my heart. No, I appreciate it. Honestly, though, I appreciate anyone that will take the time to talk to me. It really does lift my spirits. So thank you very much. And I'm presuming the other one here is Peter as well. So thank you, Peter, as well. Thank you both for joining me. And to anyone else, this may stay on my YouTube for a bit, but I don't really intend on keeping it there because it's just been random chit chat. Yeah, and you, Peter, thank you very much. So I'm going to go off this now, guys. If there's any sort of live specific that you want me to do in the future, whether it's an unboxing live, which might be a bit awkward for me because I'm not the best with knowing all my scientific names yet, especially when it comes to the tarantulas. But if you want me to do a live unboxing one day, or a live care sheet, or a live handling, won't be handling tarantulas though, or something else, then message me on Facebook. You can message me on my personal Facebook or the Bug Realms one on a private message. Let me know what you'd like to see on a proper live, and I'll try and arrange doing that for you. Anything you can think of, even if it's just another chit chat, I don't mind. But if there's a specific subject that you guys want to talk about or whatever, then go ahead. So I'm going to be clicking off this now, guys. Thanks again for watching. I really, really appreciate all you taking the time out to watch this video and chat with me. Sorry, I've got a butterfly flying around. Anyway, guys, take care. Thanks again. See you later. That's not the end button. That's the end button. See you later, guys.